Um, Great.
All right, we're live.
Hey, this is Michael Harden. We're the Norwalk Parking Authority regularly scheduled meeting postponed 1 week to today. Starting off, we are going to have a couple of late commissioners come in, but we'll go through the meeting the best we can and push the voting off till the end. Jessica, could you please send me a copy of the agenda?
I did. Yep. I just sent it around. Yep. I just sent it around to everybody again. And Larry,
Wonderful.
if you could let me share my screen, then I can put the agenda up.
That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Open up there. Great. So the public comment section is always the first thing that we talk about in our meetings, and we offer the public to come give us a few minutes. Is there anyone in the waiting room or anyone on the Zoom that would like to address the commission?
Yes, we do have one attendee with their hand up. Colin Groth here. Colin.
All right, great, Colin. You got 3 minutes. We're not. It's not a discussion. We won't be responding, but you're welcome to speak your mind.
All right, I'm getting a message. Colin is using an older version of Zoom. So in order to allow him to talk, I have to promote him the panelist. So I guess we can do that. And Colin, give it a few seconds here.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful, thank you. Yeah, so I'm a resident, Colin Groth here, 16 West Rocks Road. I'm also a bike walk commissioner, and I'm active professionally in the city, and know I know Garrett and Jim through advocacy work and professionally, and I believe also Jessica and Judd Ailey and Eric Rains, who's also on the authority. I'm here speaking for myself and to my experience on the recent holiday weekend in the Maritime parking garage. So I was with my family and I have 2 young children. We had my sister-in-law and her and my niece visiting, who's my niece is 3 years old, visiting from out of town. We went to the Maritime Aquarium and made reservations for that late in the afternoon, 3 o'clock. And expected to have a decent time. The aquarium overbooked right after the state reopened from the COVID restrictions, which was totally on them. However, our experience when we left the aquarium with the Maritime Garage and the lack of interaction and sympathy from the parking authority employees was completely abysmal. And this garage was full to capacity. My understanding is that it holds 750 cars at the time we were leaving, which was around 4 o'clock, a full hour before the Maritime Aquarium closes. It was probably, maybe only a tier and a half were empty. So it was very full to the max. And it took me 2 hours to exit the garage. During that time, there was nobody from the parking authority staff or Norwalk Police Department that made any effort to get to the upper decks of the parking garage and let anyone know what the situation was going on. This was just, I feel like, as someone who actively tries to make the city better through my volunteer efforts and my professional efforts through the architecture firm I work for, this is an immense black eye for the city. And to top it all off, after waiting for 2 hours to get to the exit gate, there was a parking authority employee that was trying to collect tolls. And, I was there, I was parked for an hour. And then I waited 2 hours to get out. And they were, because your machine was not able to take my fare, I wasn't able to prepay. I thought traveling with small children, and my sister-in-law has a a fractured tibia and fibia that she's recovering from for the past year. So she's got some mobility issues. I sent my family on ahead to load up in the car. And the pay station, after I waited in line for 20 minutes or so for the people in front of me to take that, wouldn't take my money. I opted to chance it, seeing that I had 20 minutes to get out of the garage. I thought that would be sufficient. Little did I know I'd be sitting there for 2 hours with 3 small kids in the car and my sister-in-law trying to, hold her urine and dealing with the fact that you don't have any bathrooms on the premises or, access to public restrooms and having her leg cramp up because of her surgery. So I can only imagine what was going on in the other 600 some odd cars that were likely in line before me. So I just, I'm not against paying for parking. I'm not against that, but having somebody demand money from me as I'm leaving after being basically imprisoned for 2 hours is pretty much a shitty way to end a shitty visit. And, I imagine, and I did see a lot of out-of-state plates, so there were a lot of people visiting Norwalk, and, I couldn't blame them if they never returned. That was horrible. I expect that kind of things when I go to concerts and sporting events where there's people directing traffic and it's visible and you're already in a mass of cars. You've likely waited in line to park in your vehicle and you wait in line to leave, but you don't expect that just leaving a parking garage for a non-event. This wasn't an event. There wasn't anything going on. There wasn't anything special. It was just a regular weekend. 2 hours when I'm looking at crappy sidewalks and, poorly maintained roads in our downtown district, it makes me wonder what is done with all the funds that are collected through the parking authority. And that's me, being swayed by the public opinion that I read on Facebook and the Hour and other things. And I can understand the frustration. It's like if we're being asked to pay for stuff, it's like we should get more than, basically spit in our face when we're wait for 2 hours to get out of a parking garage and told we should pay for our wait time. So
your 3 minutes is up. If you could wrap it up.
yeah, sorry. So it was just a very frustrating experience. And, we need to do better as a city, otherwise people like me that are, trying to make it a better place are just going to give up and move somewhere else. And I like it here. I've made my career here and and I'm raising my family here, and it's just very frustrated. So I hope that, you can make better efforts to make sure this doesn't happen again and work with maybe the Norwalk Police Department to come up with a contingency plan. And, if there is a backup like that, you are collecting a lot of those fares in advance. I think the people that would be paying at the gate in that situation would be minimal. So you should probably just open the gates and let people out. And if you have to work with the police department to make that happen, I think it's worth it to have a better perception of our city. We already are fighting so many negative stereotypes from the surrounding, area in terms of our school system and, recent things with the police department putting black eyes on the city and that nature, and getting joked about on TV with that American Housewife show.
Colin,
All right.
Sorry,
Colin, excuse me.
I get it, but
I don't listen. I get it, and I appreciate it. Your 3 minutes is up, but I just want to ask you a couple quick questions before you go. First of all, we have your contact information, so we can get back to you. Is that yes? Second of all, the date.
This was, I believe it was Sunday of the.
This past Sunday?
No, it was the Labor Day.
Gotcha. And you said it was you left at about 4:00.
I left the aquarium. Yeah, our reservation for the aquarium was 3. We were through the aquarium in about an hour, and we tried to leave at 4.
Okay. It's no consolation, and we're not going to get into a discussion about it, but we are very aware of the day. It was an interesting day for everybody to learn a lot, but I appreciate you coming and voicing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I want us to do better as a city, and
yes, of course.
So
thank you. Larry, is there anybody else in the waiting room or on the list for public hearing?
There is not.
Okay. Then we'll close that section of the meeting. Move on to, well, we're going to hold off on voting for the minutes until we have a quorum. And the only thing that I want to say basically for the chairman's report is that moving forward, we take August off, but I think we'll probably meet as we're still kind of going through a lot in this budget and pandemic stuff. But it will be in person. I think it's important to get back to meeting in person. And I do understand that there's certain technologies and Zooms and things that we're going to need to set up as well. But we're going to try to get that done for the next month as well. So we can, I guess, do both, right? Eric is here. And we still don't have Judd or Tom, right? I'm not seeing Tom anywhere. No. Let's go to some of the old business that we've already discussed in the past that the guys won't miss too much until they get here. Why don't we ask Jim to talk a little bit about number 7, right? A, B, these things. Jim, what can you bring us up to speed a little bit here?
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
So I have had a conversation with Condot regarding the charging stations. They have ordered the charging stations and will be in touch with me as soon as they arrive. We've been through the locations of where they are. So at this point in time, we're just waiting on, unfortunately, it's the time we're on, right? It's just, equipment, and particularly that has to do with electronics. There's a demand and a wait list, but the order has been placed. And I had a conversation with Condot as, should they become, usually successful, the opportunity to get additional stations or, charging stations around the station. So moving forward, and as soon as they're in, we'll let you know.
And we're gonna do 2 in East Norwalk and 2 in South Norwalk. Am I correct?
So not at East Norwalk because the station house isn't open at East Norwalk right now.
Okay.
So there will be the first one we're doing one at the New Haven bound side and one at the New York bound side. And if we need more, we looked at secondary locations to add them to, but we initially got 2, one for each side of the Sono station.
At the Sono station. Okay, great.
All right.
Yep.
The second one on the promotional program for parking operations, we have been working with the marketing folks. They having conversations with Laz about the parking operations that have been in effect. They're putting together a packet. I hope to get that packet in advance of this meeting, but we will definitely have it for the next meeting. They haven't finished putting everything together yet, but we're detailing everything so that we'll have a packet to go out to the businesses to let everybody know of the options for parking that are out there, and hopefully simplify it and just maybe alert people to some of the programs that were started in the past but kind of took a hiatus with the pandemic. So we will have a packet ready for distribution by the next meeting.
Excellent.
So Jim, will that include the token program, those kinds of programs?
Yeah, we've worked with Laz about all the programs that were in effect before, as well as clarification to the regular options that people have to pay. So kind of like, here's your parking experience, and here's some of the programs that as a merchant you can take advantage of.
Okay, all right.
Right. Continuing on the updates, number C, the update on the Wall Street neighborhood bollard back in angle. So parking. So Vanessa and I walked Wall Street and came up with 5 locations in total that we are removing the bollards. 3 of them were on River Street. 2 of them were on Wall Street. And we will continue to monitor those, make sure that there's no issues of people encroaching into the sidewalk area. But we at this point in time, we have 5 bollards out.
You have 5 bollards
Removed,
removed.
that have been
Gotcha.
removed, out, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like there was some duplicity in the bollards, so that's great. Thin them out a little. Okay,
Yep. All right,
nice.
so we'll monitor and keep an eye on it, and you know, should nothing occur, we'll look at additional bollards to be removed.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Number D would be an update from Laz. So.
Yep.
Rocky,
Jim.
Duffy,
We did receive, I think we mentioned this once before, that we were getting 3 bids from contractors on painting Haviland, and we received 3. A local company was actually the lowest, and he actually did do some work for us before at the Maritime Garage. So we're prepared to move ahead with the project, assuming the board still wants to move ahead with it, or if you want to postpone it until the cash flow situation is a little better in the next few months.
What are the bids? Do we know what they are?
Yeah, the low bid was a little over $30,000. And I guess the question would be too, is we can pay this through operations or through a capital fund.
Okay. I don't want to dive in too deeply without everybody else here, but I get that's a great update and a wonderful view from your office, Stathi, of the background picture. I love that.
I got that from you.
Yes, you did. How about an update on the parking, the branding?
okay. So we would just be looking for the concurrence of the brand, the Park Norwalk brand, the logo that's been established, and in the back of the packet, Mike, I reckon you may not have the packet, so hard to do this, but so this would be the first go round. This would be advertisement to the businesses, that are around Sono, where we would incorporate a dine Sono, play Sono, shop Sono, and from a gratis perspective first, to start the process of advertising some, with the hopes that this will lead into then a paid advertisement. It would replace the Rocky 30 some odd frames that we had in Sono, correct?
That is correct.
So those
Yeah.
frames today largely just say advertise here, right? So
Right,
this is,
right.
we're still going to have an advertise option on the bottom of those, but in the interim, we're going to look at highlighting some of the businesses that are in Sono with a how many minutes it would take to walk from the station to that establishment.
I kind of, just for me, I kind of like the idea of leaving it very Sono generic and being and having that up. I love that idea. Eat here, shop here, play here.
Yep.
As soon as in the past, as soon as we've offered it to restaurants and broken it down to, smaller businesses that wanted to advertise, it's fallen apart. But when we've kept it when we've kept our arms around it, it's really been kind of cool. So I love the idea. And this is the train stations, right?
Yep.
The-
So this
the
would be solely at
structures.
solely at the Sono train station.
Uh-huh.
it was really just, my looking at, I don't know that 30 signs did anything for us that says advertise here because nobody was advertising here. I
Right.
think now is a difficult time to advertise. And I think if we could show something that there's a cool factor into it that's replicated throughout the station, that maybe, my thought is that, we would pay for the design and, as we did here. And that, we'll approach businesses to pay for the print, the 24 by 36 print, so that we would minimize any cost to the parking authority. And I do believe people should pay for something, right? And we'll give it for free for X number of months. And as we start to reemerge from this, we hopefully could start to do this with a little bit more of a pay perspective going forward. But I agree with you. I like the hyper local component of it, really connecting the station to the neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the Sono station though, for now.
Just the Sono station for now, yes.
Okay. Okay. I didn't realize there were 30 frames just in the Sono station. That's a lot. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Excellent. And do you have a few words for us on the maintenance update? Or is that?
So the maintenance update was the item that we were going to add for Laz to update us on, maintenance issues on a monthly basis. So we'll just continue to have a maintenance update that Laz can provide as we looked at, maybe some of the things that we noticed walking through the station, maybe some of the things that Laz recognizes, for example, in our tour of the Sono parking facility, particularly, highlighting maybe the restrooms, the child changing stations were in less than stellar condition. So there may be things that this would be an opportunity for Laz to update us on things that maybe are in need of repair that aren't on our radar.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I don't know if Rocky, if you're prepared for it for this month, but it would be an item that we want to include into the agenda going forward.
Yeah.
Sure, I got an update on the stuff that we discussed. Our maintenance team has already come and looked at the train station bathrooms, both of the women and men bathrooms. So we've ordered the equipment for the child thing, the child changing the diaper thing. So we've ordered that, and also the paper towel container that we've ordered that as well. And they're going to be painting. We were scheduled for this week, but they got caught up in other projects in Hartford. So they're going to come also do some painting in the bathroom and also the stairwell by New York side to lighten up that the walkway. So they're going to do that painting as well. And we've already started the stairs on the State Street side going down. Some metal was coming up. So our internal maintenance team has fixed some, but some of the metals are actually, completely loosened up from the bottom. So we're bringing professional vendors to come take a look at it and give us pricing before we do any work on that end of it. As any other maintenance issues that we have before the month of May and June that we have completed, as we've power washed the main entrance area of the Maritime Garage and Yankee Doodle Garage. We've painted the islands, especially going to the Maritime Aquarium. We've painted all those, and there are some ongoing projects still going on. So we'll have more updates for our July meeting.
Okay, great.
Excellent. And I think just as a side, well, not really as a side, and it's actually on point, and that it was brought to our attention that regularly scheduled maintenance and things that happen to our structures on a regular basis should be something in our agenda that we can discuss each month, just to stay up to speed on everything. And I like that idea. I like it a lot. So. Have we gotten, I don't see Judd and I don't see Tom. I'm at a little spot here where the next things that we discuss are critical enough for everybody to hear, the operating financial report and engineering report. And then we do have one voting item, but because we don't have a quorum, I'm a little stuck here. Let's see. I have
let me call
contacted.
Let me call Judd and see if I can get him on.
All right. I'm going to say that Tom probably won't be able to make it. I did speak to him today. He was going to try, but he's not here by now. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, if you want me to maybe do something that maybe talk about something that isn't the operating report, maybe talk to you about some new thoughts that we have.
I just got a note from Judd that he's not going to make it. So, yeah, let's hear Stothy's financial operating report. Get it on the record. Get it into the video for the month, and then we'll have to move the DKA vote.
Judd is going to be joining us. We just need to
he
give him a
is?
few minutes. Yeah, he
just texted me. Okay, good.
He's going to join us in a few minutes so that we can take the vote, and then we'll see.
Awesome. All right. So Stoth, why don't you fill in the gap for us, and while we're waiting for Judd.
I'll hold off at the beginning of the financial and operating report and tell you just about something Rocky and I have been talking about. So, with the loss of the spaces on Washington Street, demand is, especially on the weekends, nights, Thursday evenings, between 7, 10 p.m., Thursday through Saturday, demand is kind of outpacing the supply of spaces. So,
yeah.
So every space kind of counts down there. So,
do you want to share your screen, Stoth? Or do you want maybe just
particular item when we get to the
doesn't matter.
Report, Rocky's going to pull up the operations report.
Okay, go ahead.
So especially North Water, the North Water lot, the Haviland deck has been very, very busy, and we're running out of space. So what we thought we would look at was offering some kind of a public valet service out of the North Water lot. I know this is something that we had talked about in the past on Washington Street, but we think maybe this might be a little different approach. And once North Water lot fills, we can assess the viability of a public valet service from there, and we'd store the cars at the Maritime Garage. So we'd run kind of a cost-benefit analysis. It wouldn't be a free service; it would be a paid service. Is our thought, so it can stand on its own 2 feet. So we were thinking of that, and we welcome kind of any comments or thoughts on it, either tonight or after offline, as we go through our plan.
Stoth, have you thought about when that would be? Is it just, are you thinking just like dinner Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I think it would be Thursday evening through Saturday evening. Maybe, I don't know, 5, 6 o'clock to, I don't know, probably midnight.
And what would you do? Would we use our 15-minute spaces as valet pickup and drop off, or?
Well, we're not there yet. We're thinking we would run it right out of North Water. So.
Oh, okay. Because the only reason I say that is because we're eminently about to lose half of North Water Street to the demolition crew that's taken the.
Yeah, no, we were thinking just at the North Water lot itself.
Okay.
So when it gets full, we would just start valeting them, and the traffic patterns, favorable because it's a right turn out of the lot, and then it's pretty easy to get into the garage, and then we would just we would bring them back, we would return them. The valet zone would be within the lot.
Mm-hmm.
Answer your question. So that's kind of the thought right now. but I guess, stay tuned.
Fair enough. Actually, okay. I like the idea. I think, I think it works. Even if we could use the Webster lot and that little pass through by, across from the, well, I don't know the names of the bars, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blind Rhino.
Blind Rhino, thank you. Across from Blind Rhino, that little pass through there. If we could steal those spaces back. I know we just received them back from the Italian restaurant there as valet. That little shortcut may lend us an interesting option too.
Yeah, we'll look at that too. Nothing's off the table at this point. It's just a thought, and we want to just, I guess, see it through and see if it
Cool.
makes sense.
All right, I like it. Thank you. Judd Alley is on the Hollywood Square.
Here, you need me to vote?
Hey, buddy. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's Jessica, can you share your screen with the agenda again? And let me read off this for discussion. There's 3 out of 5 of us. So we need to do an action here for new business, guys. The action to extend the contract between DKA and the Norwalk Parking Authority for 1 year, beginning July 1, 2021, for no more than $100,000. And this stems from our promise to do this last year, as long as we could have a voice on the board, and that voice has been Eric. And so Eric, why don't you give us a couple minutes about how the year has gone, and then we'll do this. Are you still on? Eric?
Yes, yeah, I'm here.
Oh, good. I didn't see you.
Yeah, I have my camera off. I'm
Okay,
not at
that's
home.
fine.
So the and from my perspective, the strides that have been made so far with our initial effort have been terrific, and they're building real momentum on all the platforms. They've gotten, as you know, this group took over from a prior group, and I think that they have settled into their role very quickly, and I would it's something that I think it's something I think is very valuable for the city, and as part of what we do related to our public outreach, the component of the parking authority. I think it continues to fit with that mission, and would recommend that we continue with it.
Excellent. Yeah, I would agree. Judd, do you have any words before we make this motion?
I don't. I think it's been a good program. So I would vote that we extend it.
Excellent. So we'll make the motion that we extend the contract between DKA and the Norwalk Parking Authority for 1 more year, beginning July 1, 2021, for no more than $100,000. Can I have a second on that, please?
I will second that.
Thank you, Judd. All those in favor, just say aye. The cameras
Aye.
aren't on.
Aye.
Hi.
And that's a quorum. So that will pass.
Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome. That's great.
Judd, do you want to stick around? Oh, well, you're welcome to stick around. The only thing we really have left to do, Judd, is go through the operating report and the engineering project from Vanessa.
Okay. I'll listen in. Yep. Go ahead.
So, Stathi, do you want to do operating now, or Rocky?
Yeah, it's fine. Rocky, you want to pull up the ops report?
Thank you, Jess.
Mike, do you mind taking a vote on the minutes while you have Judd with you?
Oh, I forgot about the minutes. Did everybody get a chance to read the minutes? Don't answer that.
I did.
I did, and I have no changes. Eric?
No changes, no.
Yeah, no changes for me either.
Excellent. So we make a motion to pass as read. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we pass the minutes as well. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, Stoth, hit us with an operation.
All right. Rocky, you want to? So I guess the high level view is that, except for the rail station facilities, South Norwalk, East Norwalk, and even Webster, because we do have a component of business from the rail station. All our locations are really are trending up, near, at, or even above pre-COVID levels, 2019. So that is a positive sign that we continue to move in the right direction. We're about 30% off budget on the parking revenue. And compared to last month, April was about 35%. So that first number, parking revenue is 29.8% under budget. That's what that refers to. Expenses are still, under control. Our transient revenue is still under budget. That's really what's been hit the hardest, again, because of the rail stations. And our total revenue for the month is up over 15% compared to the last month. So, Rocky, why don't we'll go down through each of the locations, and we'll try to make it quick. But overall, you can see the trend. If you stop up there, Rocky, on 3, that you can see the trends. The yellow or the orange yellow line is this fiscal year. So you can see we're approaching the blue lines, and you'll see that on every location we go to, or most all of them, in some cases higher. So you can see that we're trending in the right direction. So if you go to the next page,
So Stothy, just one question. The blue line, is that the equivalent to pre-COVID?
Yes, that's 2019.
Okay.
Right. Fiscal year 2019. So it was really you could look at the green line as well prior to, February. That is, pre-COVID as well, because our fiscal year is July through June. So if you go down, you'll see that, I don't know if I want to go through each location, but Maritime, let's go to Maritime. We're seeing that trending back to pre-COVID levels. You see how close that is in April and May. And it still seems to be following that seasonal trend as well. And revenue, same thing, it's approaching those levels. Webster is where we're taking a hit on transient, but we are seeing a little spike in May because the theater reopened mid-May. So when June comes around, we're going to see that improve even more, we believe. Haviland is, I'd say, a good success story right now. We're greater than our pre-COVID levels in fiscal year 20 and 19. So that is a good sign. Even the pay-by-cell transactions have been on a great rise there. North Water Lot, we're a little below pre-COVID levels, but still, again, trending in the right direction. We're seeing, strong pay-by-cell activity in North Water Lot as well. The rail station, you can see the drop off and how we just really haven't recovered yet from our commuter traffic.
I hear that is trending up more and more and more, though. We're
It
getting
is.
more and more riders every day.
That is true. Same with East Norwalk. And, you know, they'll be on the same trajectory as soon as more,
Mhm.
and more commuters start using the facility. Yankee Doodle, and, is, you know, at pre-COVID levels and more. A lot of that is because between Yankee Doodle and Wall, we had the movie shoot that generated some additional revenue. So that's why you see the revenue spike at Yankee Doodle. We had about $7,500 in revenue from that movie shoot.
Gotcha.
And then in
I feel like we should take that out. Is that should be a side note or something?
we could,
Is there a way to do that or no?
well, we could footnote it, but I mean, it's certainly transient revenue. They paid, you know, they paid by the day.
No. I understand.
I just footnote it. You can't take it out.
Yeah, you can't take it out.
Yeah.
I just feel like it would be a more honest trend if we had said, you know, what it normally is, and then said plus this added bit on the side.
I mean,
But that's all right.
it may be a biannual trend because there's some more, you know, some more movie shoots going on too. So maybe Norwalk is becoming
That's true.
a hotbed of movies.
Let's keep them coming.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, I mean,
When is the parking moving coming out? I want a movie about parking.
Norwalk?
So actually, it's really interesting because we have next week we have NBC, Discovery Channel, Netflix, Disney Plus, all filming in Norwalk. So we'll continue to work with them to be able to secure parking. And also, just a side note, Metro North increased service on June the 21st, and they'll increase service again on August the 29th. So we'll probably see another jump in that transient parking again at the end of the month.
And that's based on ridership, right? Because they're keeping a very close eye on that.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's good. Trending up. Okay.
Yeah, that's good news. Main Street, you know, has been seeing increased activity from that wasn't movie shoot, that just, you know, purely kind of organic transient growth there. So that's been good. And on, you know, one thing we didn't talk about on the financials was on the expense side, that before we move on, was that, you know, we had some, even though expenses are below budget, there were a few line items like the debt service, which was over budget. We had some true up on the city administered expenses. The electric bill payment got recorded. So usually we typically run the budget, and then when we get the actuals, we record it and true it up. And building repairs and maintenance, you know, below budget still, but it's increased. Spending has increased compared to last month. And some of that was from the Webster Street landscape project, which was about 24,000. So I just had that in my notes, and I wanted to make sure I didn't. So continuing on, the library lot is the library lot. No changes there. No activity. Liberty Square.
Hey, Stoth.
Yes, sir.
Can we align ourselves a little bit with this library and the lot? And what are their plans? Are they still closed? Are they still doing appointment only? Are they going to open again?
I'm not sure the answer to that. I can look.
All
I
right.
don't know if Jess or Jim knows, but or Rocky, but we can
Is
find
that
out.
is that an asset we could turn over to the library and let them manage it?
So
No,
I
we
think
leased it.
the library has gone through some change. So there's a new director over there. Sherelle Harris is hired as the library director. So we can coordinate a meeting this week or next with Sherelle, and we probably need to introduce her to folks, and it'd be great just to sit down and talk about it.
Yeah,
I just want
it's
to
just-
remind you guys one thing about the library lot. The reason why we ended up taking that over a few years ago was because people that was going to the court was using that lot. If you have the library card, you don't pay for parking there. So I believe that the reason why we're not seeing any revenue is more because there is not really many people going to the court next door. Because if you're at the library and you show your card, you get free parking.
Right. Good
Well,
point.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
But isn't the lot locked right now? Didn't we lock it up and just sort of put it aside until this pandemic was over? Is it being used?
I don't-
All right, let's
I
find that
bel-
out.
I
Right.
believe that it is being used, but I would need to double check, to be perfectly honest. I would need to go by, but I don't know. I don't remember that we had locked it up. I don't remember having made the decision to lock it up. So we'll have to double check it, Mike.
I mean, I know the gate's down, right? But I don't know. I thought the machinery was turned off just because, but let's check. Because I think we should at least catch up with what's going on there since we are responsible for it.
Hey, Rocky, I don't know if you have anything to share on that, Rocky?
Yeah, the arm gates are up, so it's a free in and free out. But
It is.
it is a free in and free out. But the arm gates for the parking lot are up.
All right, and let's see if we can figure out a way to try to get a count of how it's being used and if it's being used and by how much, and maybe we have to turn it back on.
Right. Okay. Well, we can examine that too.
Well, I think
Okay.
if it's ours and it's our responsibility, we should turn it on. I wouldn't wait.
Okay.
Okay.
And I agree. I don't think we will wait. We just need to figure out, on this panel here, I don't think anybody's even been back there yet. So let's put our eyes on it and see what's going on there, and with the intent to turn it back on, I think.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
On street, moving on, is
Yeah.
getting back to pre-COVID levels. We're
Mhm.
seeing a lot more activity, even, especially on the pay by sell side as well. Enforcement, we are seeing that as compliance is increasing, we're seeing that dip in ticket issuance. That was something that
Mhm.
judge had raised before, and moving, on the next page to his to the judge graph, you can see that ratio is going down as we predicted. Just
Judge will be happy.
judge will be, yes. So that, now it's down to 2.89%, that ratio, from 3.72 the month before. The customer courtesy card program. And maybe I should just talk about adjudication too, since we were talking about enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
There were 180 hearings that were scheduled, and Rocky and staff called all those violators that were scheduled for hearings and offered what the board approved, to pay the original fine to avoid a hearing.
Right.
And some people did accept that, about 20 of them. A few were dismissed for different reasons, about 5 of them, and about 129 still asked for a hearing. And the remaining ones, either weren't able to be reached or left a message, or the phone didn't work. So it was successful in at least reducing the number of hearings until we get to that next step.
Excellent. And Jim, have you heard whether or not our legal department is planning to start that up again anytime soon? Or are there any talk of
Yeah, I actually got
getting
an
the
email
hearings
from
back
him
online?
I got an email from this week. Earlier this week, he gave me a couple of dates that I will work with Rocky to get those scheduled for those dates. We think that we can clear it out in a month.
Awesome.
He'll up
I mean,
the schedule to make it happen. So
Right.
between July and August, we'll get it done.
It's, it's progress, not perfection. As long as we can get it back rolling again, that would be great. It's been offline for almost a year and a half now. So
Yep.
we want to give those people their 15 minutes. Okay, great. Thank you.
The customer courtesy program, continues. We're going back to kind of the normal operation. We have 13 program days in May. A little over 1,000 courtesy tickets that were issued. We gave out over $500 in meter time, and 200 tickets were still issued after the courtesy time expired. The value of those courtesy tickets was about $20,000 year to date. It's over 400,000, 441,000, which is significant. The pay by cell activity, as we talked about before, you can see for every location, has been up, trending up since February, and we're seeing it get back to pre-COVID levels. The average transaction is actually up to $2.66.
Jessica, is there a story here about all these numbers trending either up to and in this instance surpassing pre-COVID for the marketing folks to fashion into some sort of message?
Is there an ability for that to happen, or are you saying
No,
that-
it just seems like an interesting story that Sono, Norwalk, and a lot of this I think might be Sono, but it's a great story that not only is Norwalk coming back, but it's surpassing the numbers from pre-COVID.
Yeah, I think it's just, I think you're just seeing a surge from people being inside for so long. And I also feel like we've really, for the first time possibly ever, over the last 2 years, we've have a tourism department at the city, and we have a contract in place to be able to really promote what the city's doing and how it's doing it. And that's been huge help to the parking authority. So, I think that there's a few things that are happening. I wouldn't say that it's just one particular element that's impacting it, but I do know, that there's a lot of activity going on. The other thing is that with people working from home, they also have flex schedules, so they might be actually staying close to home, but doing a lot more errands and doing a lot more travel during the day now that some of the constraints have been lifted. So I think we're just seeing a completely new environment with the way that people are working and traveling throughout the day.
Right. But I don't know what other entities than the parking authority has this sort of tracking information. But it just seems like the Common Council would want to hear that, that things are trending, up to or even better than, prior COVID. So I don't know. It's just, just trying to look for ways to use this data to get, to get a message out, not necessarily to the world, but to at least the governing, fact people within Norwalk, that to let them know that this is happening, because I don't know what other reporting they have or what they get.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good point. And I don't know, Eric, that they've ever really seen the Norwalk Parking Authority reports in detail, but we can work with Steffi and Rocky to basically pull a summary together that kind of points out these things. I do think that it's pretty interesting to see the pay by cell transactions and the contactless transactions go up. And I think we're seeing them surpass other years because people definitely want to be using their own devices instead of the devices that are on the street or devices that are the shared meters. But to your point, you know, data really speaks volumes. And I think we do a really good job in being able to look through this each and every month. And I'm not sure that every board and commission does that. So we should be able to share it. And I do, I agree with you. I think it's a really good story.
Yeah, I think if we have the opportunity, and Mike, I'm just sort of spitballing here, but I think it's an opportunity for the parking authority to get in front of particularly the Common Council and just say, here's what we see happening. And just for your information, you can ask us any questions you want, and here's what's based on the data. Here's what's going on. Because I think I just think it's good. It's a good story all the way around, and it's a way to use the data that we're getting. Just we would consider it normal business operations, but their perspective, I think it would be information that they maybe don't have access to otherwise.
The other,
Yeah.
so the other piece too that that is important to mention is that we do walk through the operating and capital budget in detail with the Planning Commission and the BET and a few other bodies as part of the budgeting process, but we don't present to the Common Council in the same way. So where BET and planning may have seen these charts and we would talk in detail to the line items in the budget, we definitely don't do that at the Common Council. So this would all be new material for them.
I think that'd be incredible if we could do that.
I would love to do that. That would be great. We got to put a little presentation together.
Yeah,
it's
such
idea.
a great
Get it out
story.
Mhm.
It's all just such a great story.
Great. Why don't we work on that and then show you a draft and we can go from there. The Common Council meets every 2 weeks. So they did not meet last evening, but they meet next evening or next Tuesday, excuse me. And then they'll meet 2 weeks after that. So pretty regular meetings so we can hop on the agenda.
That'd be cool. I think that'd be very cool. Not to speak for you, Mike, but I think it'd be very cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that'll be very cool. Let's do that. All right.
All right, that was really all we had to report.
There we go.
Put together some key data points for whatever you want to present or get into your marketing piece. We will certainly do that.
Nice. All right. Thank you, man. It was very nice. Trending up is a great topic. I love it. What else do we have? I think that was pretty much it on the agenda. Judd, if you're still on, we went through old business before you got here. If there was anything on this list you wanted us to reiterate, now would be the time for that. Let's see, is Judd still up?
I'm here listening. I don't think so at this time.
Okay. Just so you know, they did remove a number of bollards, and they are. They did a walkthrough with Vanessa, and they are actively looking at that.
Okay.
I know you were pretty involved with that.
Yep.
All right. So then, Vanessa, if you are, if you're still with us, let's do a little project report, shall we?
Sure. I really don't have much to report.
Good.
The only thing is that in the last meeting, if you guys remember, you approved an action so we could award J. El Capasso to do the improvements at the South North train station. And after the meeting, we went back and discussed with legal. And then the way that we did is that the chairman will actually going to really sign that contract. So the contract is being prepared. I haven't seen the draft yet. I emailed them earlier. So should be coming for you to sign soon, Mike. And then we should, as soon as we get that signed we should be starting that project. I believe that we're not going to be able to do much of the work on the track side for a while because we need to get the Metro North permit.
Permission.
But there is enough work around the building that we can start getting them on. So hopefully by next meeting, I'll have a start date for that project.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much. It pretty much covers the agenda. Unless anybody else has anything else, I'll open the floor up for a second here. I can't really see everybody, but
No, I'm good. This is
no,
Eric.
everybody's good. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I would motion that.
Judd, would you second that for us? Yes.
Yes, I'll second that.
There you go. Thank you all very much for this makeup meeting. Appreciate it. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Great. Thanks, everybody.